In this video, I will introduce you to our exciting evidence on the new feature, the wind and handling stabilizer in Oticon Real, and I will share with you a couple of key takeaways. Imagine you're walking on a beach with your friend. It's a moderately windy day and you would like to have a pleasant conversation. For people with hearing aids, this listening situation can be challenging. Why? Because wind in itself can be tiring. If you have ever talked on the phone with someone outside on a windy day, you know this rustling sound that may appear. This is because the turbulent airflow of the wind around the hearing aid microphones create a loud noise. In fact, in a survey of more than 700 hearing aid users, we found that when walking outside with a friend, 41% experience wind noise as a negative phenomenon. In this situation, you want your hearing aid to solve two problems. One, you want to get rid of the loud, uncomfortable wind noise. And two, you want to engage in the conversation with your friend, responding to a clear speech signal. Our latest clinical research has shown that Oticon Real provides a solution to both problems by providing significantly less wind loudness and more speech clarity in windy situations, and this in comparison to two top competitors. Furthermore, in a clinical study, we found that Oticon Real provides better access to speech in windy situations, and it provides an up to 19 dB better attenuation of wind noise at speech-relevant frequencies compared to Oticon More. Let me tell you how we accomplished this. To test Oticon Real in the toughest environment, we did a technical and a clinical test in one of the world's largest university-owned tunnels, not so far from Oticon headquarters here in Denmark. It's called Paul Dacour Tunnel. The wind tunnel is unique due to its optimized acoustic environment, as the test section where we tested is embodied in an anechoic chamber, absorbing the noise reflected within the test section. In addition to this, special sound-reducing material which ensures that the machinery noise is not audible in the test section. One way to imagine this is to think of the wind tunnel as a leaf blower blowing through a long tube, but somehow being able to get rid of the leaf blower noise. And just a fun fact before we get to the evidence. Did you know that the wind speed in the Paul Dacour tunnel can be adjusted from very slight breeze to 3 times the speed of a hurricane? Pretty amazing, right? In this tunnel, we measured at moderate to strong wind speeds on the well-known Beaufort scale. That's between 5 and 10 meters per second, as these are very realistic wind speeds of the everyday life. In our technical measurements, we wanted to investigate two things: attenuation of wind noise and access to speech. So we placed a head and torso mannequin in the center of the test section. The cool thing about this mannequin? Inside its artificial ears are highly sensitive microphones, which can record the exact output of a hearing aid. So on the ears, we placed Oticon Real and Oticon More fitted to a mild to moderate hearing loss. Let me show you our test setup. While wind was blowing at moderate to strong wind speeds, we played speech from one speaker in front. We placed it on the floor, on the side of the test section to avoid unwanted turbulence. As shown here, we found an up to 19 dB better attenuation of wind noise at speech-relevant frequencies in Oticon Real compared to Oticon More, with the greatest improvement in the mid and high frequencies. Furthermore, in the presence of wind, Oticon Real delivered a clearer speech signal than Oticon More. This means that the hearing aid user can get better access to speech when wearing Oticon Real. Now you can listen to what it sounded like. Now, let me tell you about our clinical study with test participants. We invited 10 experienced hearing aid users with mild to moderately severe symmetrical hearing loss to the wind tunnel. In the test section, 2 participants completed the test at the same time. They were seated with a meter apart, like this. and while sitting in moderate wind speeds of 6 meters per second, they listened to running speech at 65 dB in front of them. The participants were fitted with 3 pairs of hearing aids, Oticon Real, plus 2 hearing aids from leading competitors. They were of course not aware which hearing aid they were wearing at any time. On a tablet, the participants were asked to 1. Rate their perception of the loudness of the wind noise, and 2. Rate the clarity of speech. It can be said that both the hearing aids and the participants were really put to the test. The listening environment was extremely complex and it required a lot of concentration from our participants. Imagine having to perform a complex brain task while also sitting in a dark, windy place. When we asked the participants how loud they experienced the wind noise in the hearing aids, they rated Oticon Real to have the lowest median score of 40%. This means that overall the wind noise experienced in Oticon Real was 10 to 22 percentage points lower than competitor 1 and 2. Furthermore, the experienced wind noise in Oticon Real is significantly lower than competitor 1, shown here in gray. When we asked the participants how clear they experienced the speech signal, we found that participants rated Oticon Real to have the highest overall speech clarity of 30.5%. This is 10.5 to 17 percentage points higher than competitor 1 and 2. Moreover, the speech clarity was significantly higher for Oticon Real than for competitor 2. So, let's go back to the scenario where you're walking on the beach on a windy day with your friend. A traditional hearing aid would handle the situation by simply turning down gain in an attempt to provide comfort to you. However, turning down gain will close you off from the full sound scene, reduce your access to speech, and leave you with a less enjoyable conversation. With Oticon Real, hearing aid users no longer have to choose comfort over speech clarity. Oticon Real is the only hearing aid of the 3 that provides both. And now let's talk about another exciting finding for Oticon Real. The wind and handling stabilizer is a prevention feature, which means that it works to prevent disturbing sounds at the point of entry into the hearing aids, so that is, the microphones. One disturbing sound is what is called handling noise. And what is that? Think of all the times a client touches the hearing aids, putting on glasses, hair touching, or just using the push buttons. This handling of the hearing aid can cause the same annoying sound. And in fact, in an internal survey of over 700 users in US, France, and Germany, we found that 93% of hearing aid users wear eyeglasses on a daily basis. So this makes it a true measure of relevance for nearly all hearing aid users. Handling noise is not something that's widely investigated. However, when we asked hearing aid users specifically, 44% expressed that they experience bothersome handling noise when removing, inserting, or adjusting the hearing aids. So to investigate the power of the wind and handling stabilizer in Oticon Real, we conducted a clinical investigation. Using a standard, moderately sloping hearing loss audiogram and fitting with all the standard settings, we placed Oticon Real and the same 2 top competitor hearing aids on the head and torso mannequin. We then systematically brushed the microphones of the hearing aids while recorded the output through the ears of the mannequin. With this method, we found that Oticon Real has lower handling noise than both competitors, shown by Oticon Real here in the light blue color, and this result was highly significant. This means that the hearing aid user will experience noticeably less handling noise wearing Oticon Real, it being 40 dB lower than competitor 1 and 90 dB lower than competitor 2, as you can see here. Have you noticed how small the waveform for Oticon Real is? It's not only visible, you can also listen to it yourself. Here are the 3 key takeaways from the new compelling evidence on Oticon Real. In windy situations, Oticon Real has more powerful wind noise removal than Oticon More, and it provides better access to speech. Rated by hearing aid users, Oticon Real is the only hearing aid which provides both significantly less loudness of wind noise and more clarity of speech than top competitors. Handling noise is a less investigated issue, but something many hearing aid users experience. We found that Oticon Real significantly reduces handling noise, where two top competitors were 14 and 19 dB louder. I encourage you to read more in our new Oticon white paper on wind and handling stabilizer in Oticon Real.